Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Nukeshot Media, bringing to you live the Mountain King Challenge here at Mount Panorama for Nukeshot Endurance Series Season 5.5. I am, as ever, Nukeshot Zokeo. Unfortunately, co-commentator Mika has been having some tech issues today, so he won't be with me. Also on the bad side, I haven't got a beverage joining me in the booth today, so dry throats all round. Bit of a madness, but we move. Qualifying is about to get underway shortly here. Apologies for the slight delay on the stream. I may have lost track of time a little bit. And of course, if you're new to this, it is the Mountain King Challenge. It is Group 4's up and down again at the Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. It's going to be a good one. Qualifying about to get underway shortly. We've got 11 competitors here today. We have some last minute entries. Good to see those all in attendance. Hello to those in chat. Hello Amuda, who's also going to be joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Up to 7 viewers already. Fantastic stuff. 15 minutes of qualifying here today as per usual with Nukeshot Endurance Series 5.5. Difficult typing and all the rest of it at the same time. Hello to CJ. Mood's just finishing livery. I have also allowed Roland here. I don't know if he's got a livery himself, but I was in talks with him in DMs regarding that. So the guys going out on circuit. It is a really challenging circuit, is Mount Panorama. I'm going to get all the race info up for qualifying, just because it helps with all the juicy detail. And indeed, James has a livery. It would seem Quinners has one as well. Nice seeing them here once again. The Arrows Racing team represented. It is the TSR Joe 2 guy. I can speak, trust me. Car 27, that BMW M4 plunging down the S's for the first time. Oh, looking like he's being overtaken by CJ. So CJ, Virtual Life Experience C John, Crazy John as he's better known around here, is going to be the one leading us off. Rotary also here today. They are driving a Lexus RCF in the Paradox livery machine. Interesting to see how they do. Groot here as well in the Hyundai Genesis. Good to see them back. Newcomer PRT Nicholas. They're looking quite quick in practice. We'll see how they do. James there, of course. Sir Bottle Job making a return in the Pacific Coast Radio machine. Eddie here. Another last minute entry. Good to see them here. GTO as well in the Citroen. And Infamous currently sat in the pits. We're about to go live on board with Crazy John for the first qualifying lap of the Mountain King Challenge. Turn 1, right angle corner. Carry a bit more speed than you'd think because of the camber, but also don't want to run too wide. Very easy to get caught up in a turn 1 incident there. Then the rise as we go up towards Griffin's Bend. It then dips down here as we go towards the approach. We'll see where he chooses his braking marker, the 50 it would seem for CJ. Trying to get the car turned in for Griffin's Bend. Runs a bit wide from the apex. Nevertheless, doesn't hit the wall. The wall's extremely close, as you can imagine. It's like a street circuit in places. It's fantastic to watch. And here you see, yet again, extremely close, curbs right up to the walls. Bit of grass verge here. And then this dip, leading as you're coming towards Skyline. It is a majestic circuit indeed, and then the plunge down through the S's for the first time. Nice cut there by Crazy John. Car getting a little bit unstable. I think there's a slight bit of lag from the green. Just a slight bit though. Then through the elbow, and now going downhill onto the Conrod straight. It's going to be a real test of the straight line power as well as the cornering and suspension abilities of these cars. Hello to Hagee in chat. Nice having you along here. I'll have to check after qualifying to see if there's space in the lobby. I believe there is. Especially because Mika isn't around, unfortunately, because of that issue. Through the chase. Little bit too much speed carried by CJ, but trying to get those extra tenths. Then the final corner. Another right angle, similar to the first. And making your way across the line, the Joe 2 guy goes into the pit for a new set of boots, as does Rotary, and Nicholas goes top of the timing sheet. So that's a 2-minute 10 from the Ferrari driver. Very impressive stuff by them. Top of the timing sheets for now. Groot goes second, ahead of Crazy Jump. We saw Groot have a very good run of things at the Sanquhar 1 hour last week. That form seems to be carrying, so they're currently faster than Crazy John. Sir Bottle Job currently 4th in qualifying, James in 5th. Those are the only guys that have set times so far. I shall have a check for you now, Hagee. Yep, there's plenty of space if you want to tag along. Joe, first of the group on the new set of rubber, I believe. Saw Rotary go into the pits as well. Remember, these guys are going to try and burn off some fuel in order to make the car lighter and therefore a little bit quicker. But also got to take into account that every lap they do does take a bit of a performance deficit out of the tyres. 4 likes already according to this. Great stuff. Nice having you guys around. Through the S's they go once again. Joe pulling off to the side, allowing, I believe that was Rotary going through, indeed. That neon yellow machine. Reminds me a bit of the Menards car in IndyCar. Those of you familiar with motorsport in the States will probably know roughly what I'm on about. Gonna get some more lap times coming through shortly. I believe Crazy John is the first here, but he runs into the wall and he's picked up damage. Resets to the pits. Nicholas, can they go faster? It looks close. Not quite. 2,000. Talk about consistency there from the German. Good work by them. Grew into the pits. They haven't picked up damage, but as expected, they are going to change tyres. We're coming up to halfway in this 15-minute qualifying session. It's a very long lap here. As you're seeing, 2 minutes 10 seconds in these Group 4 cars. Quinners currently exiting Griffin's Bend. Through what I believe is the Audi cutting. And then this very tricky risen section once again. And the elevation change is really key to get right here at Mount Panorama. It is immense. Australia's Nürburgring is one nickname that it goes by. And you can definitely see why. Perhaps the likes of the Mustang, being a muscle car with that V8 engine up front, could prove to have the torque in its favour. Yep, cheers CJ for getting that one. It's difficult commentating while lobbying as well at the same time, hosting and all that good stuff, but we move. We do our best here at Nukeshot Incorporated, even if it isn't good enough. Either way, hope you guys are enjoying content so far. Nicholas going into the pits, overshooting the pit entry, spinning into the wall. They've picked up damage on pit entry there. Not how they'd want that to go. They're gonna end up having some time spent on repairs. Groot still second fastest at the moment. Roland in the pits. They're going for a tyre change. A note to bring up from the Sanquhar 1 hour, as informed to me by the Joe 2 guy, our witty professor. The fuel burning strategy does still happen, as we may have miscorrectly said. It was patched during the Sanquhar 1 hour event stream. However, it isn't as effective. James, what can they do? They're currently 5th, less than a 10th from their teammate. Faster than Crazy John. Crazy John not had the most consistent of qualifying sessions so far. They're hoping to do a little bit better, find themselves up towards the top 4. So bottle job here in the Porsche 911, the 718 rather, the Cayman. I'm getting confused with my GT3s. The Pacific Coast Radio machine, making their way up the mountain. Good to see them back again after a bit of a disappointing end to their Sanquhar 1 hour. Or disappointing start, I would say, having a bit of contact, being hit from behind, picking up damage. Good to see them here back again though. GTO in that Citroen. Oh, looked like it might have overshot the mark, but nope, they kept going. Good on them. Kept it on the grey stuff as they brake. It's going to be setting onto their outlap, onto their first time lap rather of this run. What a lot of cars are resetting to the pit lane instead of keeping the fuel burning going, probably due to damage. Rotary is currently got a 1 second penalty, probably for corner cutting. I don't think he was able to serve it because there were yellow flags somewhere. So he's letting some of these guys go past. Nicholas 6/10 up from the Joe 2 guy, who has just gone on his new best lap, 2 minute 11.212. So Nicholas really showing he's got the pace here. Joe, of course, established race winner in the Nukeshot Endurance Series, championship winner as well. 5/10 off the pace at the moment. Nicholas looking impressive. And Groot again. A second off of Joe, but no one else seems to be able to keep the consistency here for a lap. It's a very difficult circuit, as we've mentioned. Very easy to overstep the mark, even in these less powerful Group 4 cars. They do have less downforce as well, making them a little bit slippy at times. Especially in the slow speed stuff. James racing their way around through McPhillamy Park and towards Skyline, but they've gone off the circuit at McPhillamy. They've hit the wall somehow. They've avoided picking up damage with that one. We will go to a replay, but of course the qualifying is done in the practice mode. Down they plunge once again. So Bottle Job currently in 7th in the Porsche. Their last lap was a 2 minutes 13.5 on the dot. Currently good enough for 7th. And GTO is currently down in 8th. Don't improve this time around. Rotary down in 9th. They'll be looking to improve. think they might be improving this time around. We'll have to see. Sparks being thrown up by that Lexus as they go onto the brakes. That's how soft the suspension is, really compressing as they slam on the anchors. Joe going into the pits for a new set of tyres. Rotary exiting the final corner. What can they do? I think it's going to be an improvement for them. Indeed, that's enough for 7th. So they've jumped up a couple places. Into the final minute of qualifying. Bit of overtaking action here. That's infamous. Haven't seen much of them on circuit as of yet, but they're here. That Audi TT, along with teammate Eddie. No actual team entry listed on GT Planet, so I've just put them down as privateers. Qualifying is wrapping up, it would seem. Everyone on their last lap of asking. I think GTO is going to be the first to cross the line. I do have a keyboard plugged in, but I still just naturally type with the controller because I'm a weirdo like that. GTO will be the first to cross the line, as we mentioned. Are they going to be able to improve on their current time? We're about to see. The current time is around 2 minutes 13. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to quite be an... Oh, yep, very slight improvement for them. Not enough to move them up any positions. Nicholas, they're making their way round the final corner. No improvement for them. That's pretty much guaranteed. Rotary there and Joe. Here we see Groot. Can Groot improve? Groot not looking like they're going to improve. Here comes Quinners. Quinners looking like he's got some pace. Yellow flags as the cars start parking up. It just misses out for Quinners. James just misses out as well. Joe just misses out as well. As that was Rotary going across the line. No improvement for them. Crazy John goes second with 2 minute 11.0. Just taking that from Joe by 1/10 of a second. But our pole sitter is going to be PRT Nicholas Carl. A fantastic lap. And a fantastic debut to the Nukeshot Endurance Series, I have to say. Here are your results then from qualifying. I shall quickly take a screenshot. Alright, where is it? Where is it? There's the one. So Amuda is here. We'll be arranging the grid shortly. Apologies for this. Actually no, before that, I'll go over the things here. So 2 minute 10.2 for Nicholas. Closest to him, a 2 minute 11.0 from CJ, 8/10 off. The Joe 2 guy, 2/10 off of CJ, 2 minute 11.12. Also in the 2 minute 11 club, Groot, very good showing from them. Quinners goes 5th, 2 minute 12.5, 2 minute 12.7 for their teammate James. Bottle job, Sir Bottle job if you will, 0.779, 2 minute 12. 2 minute 13s, we get to Rotary, who's going to be starting 8th. In 9th place on the times, it's GTO, 2 minute 13.8. 2 minute 16 for Eddie. That's going to put them in 10th, and infamous 2 minute 22. That's going to be enough for 11th. Now I shall move on to sorting the grid. If you're enjoying the stream so far, again, consider leaving a like. Plenty of action will be coming your way shortly, brought to you here live on Nukeshot Media from Mount Panorama. Plenty of juicy action coming up for you guys. Just sorting some things out. Getting that tab up. Phone, please. Thank you. Ignore the blue screen, that's just me going into my screenshots. GTO. And a Muda who didn't set a time will be starting at the back of the grid, of course, but good seeing them here. Shame the teammate couldn't make it, but I'm sure they are busy with something important. And then Eddie Infamous Amuda. Whew. This is going to be a juicy one. Hope you're all looking forward to it as much as I am. Just gonna quickly reset the stream on here. These guys making their last minute preparations, as I will be doing the same. The race, a few minutes away. Yep, everything seems to just about be in order here. Everything looking good. There is our pole sitter. BLT Nicholas in the black and purple Ferrari. Very impressive debut indeed. The inner workings, the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. Here's a Muda, 12th entrant here today. Start of the day on 9 entries, so good seeing we're up to 12. Oh, that is the wall. Well, this is why he gets the practice in now before we get going. I think he's just gone back to the pits, has he? Yeah, he's just gonna make some setup changes, I think. Here is the Joe 2 guy, winner, of course, last time out, spoiler alert, at the Sanquhar 1 hour event in that Mazda Atenza. That was the Group 3 machine, using a BMW M4 here today. Classic Joe 2 guy, Joe the Fire, red and black colour scheme with those stripes. He'll perhaps be a bit shocked that he didn't get the pole here today, and by quite the margin. And even over CJ, perhaps. You see some more cars parked up. There's Groot and Rotary in there as well. Parked up with our pole sitter. There's Quinners on the straight at the moment. James going for a reverse lap around the circuit, it would seem. Well, at least they're on the out lap, so they're trying to get some practice starts in, I assume this is. Yep, that's exactly what they're doing. Well done me, I've finally got something right. GTR in that Citroen. Bit of a quiet session from GTR. We'll see how they go. I should probably take a screenshot of the grid just to be safe. Oh, I've made many mistakes before, not least last time. We'll see what the guys say, whether they're ready to rock. Are you ready to rock, Squidward? Okay, so Bottle Job needs 1 minute, CJ needs 1 minute. That's all good. Hello to D-Look in the chat. Nice having you along here. Of course, an entrant last time out at the Sanqua 1 out. Unfortunately not here today. Good having you in chat though. Sure you'll be rooting for your teammate at Paradox Autoworks. There he is. And Groot sliding into shot. Very characteristically. Nice one, Groot. Oh, so Bottle Job has to go. Okay. Hopefully we'll see them out at another time. Assuming that they're leaving. Now they're saying go 3 times. Wait, they're now back on circuit. Crazy John's gone. I'm not sure what's happened there. Some more technical difficulties it would seem for some of these drivers. Don't worry CJ, we can wait up for you. As long as you don't take another 300 years. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, D-Look. It is a very tricky track, as we've seen already today. Some people hitting the wall. And already a messed up pit entry from our pole sitter, no less. If you mess up the pit entry, how much more difficult is the rest of the circuit? Well, CJ making his way back on circuit. Eventually. He's still connecting. Oh, he's there. I'll be sure that he's set to second place again. And I'll double check the grid. Once he's on the circuit. And then we should be just about ready to get things underway again. Grid order. We could start him at the back, but as banter as that would be, I don't think it would be entirely fair. We have fun on this channel. Top 3 predictions. Ah, Now, as a commentator, I'm not sure if I can entirely say that for certain, but it will be difficult to look past Nicholas based on that very immense qualifying session. I think it'll be a good battle between Joe and CJ, provided, and I'm probably going to jinx it here, provided neither of them pick up damage at the start. Last time out, CJ of course picked up some damage. It'd be good to hear, especially from Amuda, if they're ready or not, because I believe they said they needed 1 minute. Yep, James, I did that on stream. You'd know if you was watching the stream. I'm joking, I'm joking. It's fine. Good stuff. Nicholas, Joe, and CJ if he doesn't disconnect. Groot if he does, says CJ in the chat. That's his top 3 prediction. Bold putting yourself in there. Setting yourself up for some egg on your face. There's a quick DM to Amuda. Well, I say DM, I've added him. Just double checking. Okay, I believe everyone's on circuit. So, here we go then. It is about time that we get things underway. Hopefully Amuda won't be sliding into anyone at turn 1. We hope. Here we go. It is the Nukeshot Endurance Series brought to you live here on Nukeshot Media, Season 5.5. It is the Mountain King Challenge here at Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. Pole sitter, of course, Nicholas, with a fantastic lap, seeing them take the pole position. Crazy John lines up alongside in 2nd. Joe 3rd, Groot 4th, Quinner's 5th, James 5th actually according to this, 6th for Roland. I think that's because the way that the grid is lined up here, the cars are exactly side by side, so things get filtered out a little bit. As it now says CJ is in the lead. We are green, 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 and the cars are off. And it looks like Nicholas has a good launch down to turn 1. Of course, they started on pulse, therefore they had the inside, but CJ tries to go around the outside of turn 1. That's a fantastic run in the Porsche. It looks like Joe has beaten Groot off of row 2, he's pretty much by himself, and it is CJ now with the inside as they're making their way towards the dip and then towards Griffin's Bend, who looks like they might be taking the lead. We'll have to see. Does Nicholas manage to hang around the outside? No. So it is Crazy Jump with a crazy maneuver, managing to get himself up into the lead of this one. Followed closely still by Nicholas. Oh, look at this train that's developed already. Joe in 3rd, Groot still holding on to 4th. Quinners and James still battling side by side together, the 2 Arrows cars in there. Charging their way through. Nicholas looks like they're going to try and make a move. Probably has to slot back in. Very difficult to make an overtake through any of this section, really. Towards the S's they go for the first time of asking. Any mistakes? There's a helicopter coming into camera. CJ gets a fantastic launch through there. It's like a water slide, it's that slippy. Especially this early in the race when the track hasn't rubbered in. It is indeed Crazy John leading them as they go out of the elbow. The Falcon Tires elbow at this time, given the sponsorship. Joe still 3rd. Coming under a bit of threat from Groot though. With the slipstream. That Hyundai looking like they might be going for an overtake. Indeed, they do so. Groot will have the inside for the king of the chase, and in fact is ahead before the braking zone. Will Joe re-challenge them? No, has to slot back in. Groot up into 3rd place. Fantastic start by the Brit on his countryman. Nicholas all over the back of CJ. We haven't had CJ having to defend like this in quite some time. Making their way towards turn 1 for the second time of asking. I don't think we've had any casualties, have we? Actually, no, someone is going into the pits. And look at that, Nicholas manages to get ahead of CJ. Ferrari with a very good run indeed. Through Griffin's Bend. Now will the Ferrari be able to pull away? We've seen their speed in clear air. And still Groot holding on to that third place. Quinner's also in this mix as well. They're in 5th. As Groot goes a bit wide, and that allows Joe to the insideline.com. A fantastic textbook maneuver. Gets that one done and dusted. It was again to Groot, bit slidey out of the cutting. And then manages to make that one stick. Nicholas. They are starting to disappear up the road a little bit from CJ. If CJ can stick in that slipstream range, I think we'll be set. Look at the speed the Ferrari carries through the S's. Immense stuff. There's Jack Wilkinson, by the way. He's currently set out at the elbow. He's got a 1.4 second gap already. Now, will Joe, who's now ahead of Groot rather, be able to close up to CJ? They're within slipstream range. That BMW, good acceleration, perhaps lacking a bit in top speed. Here comes Roland, meanwhile, in the Ford Mustang, looking to overtake Groot. Going towards the braking zone of the chase. Backs out of it for now. Only for now, you have to think though. Because indeed, he's looking to make a move going into the final corner. Can't quite line it up. Rotary, meanwhile, a bit further down the field. They're in 6th. They're the leader of this next group of cars. So Bottle Job keeping them honest in 7th at the moment. There's GTO running a little bit wide over the dust, kicking that into the face of Amuda. Amuda up to 9th place. Given that they missed out on qualifying, that's pretty good going by them. Especially considering they're able to stay on the back of GTO at the moment. Eddie on their debut. Another recent sign-up. Car 87 making their way up the mountain. They're currently in 10th, ahead of their teammate Infamous in 11th, and then James down in 12th. I am not sure what has happened to James. They don't have damage. I assume that they must have made a pit stop at some stage because of something. It was a very slow opening lap indeed, so they probably had to come into the pits after lap 1. They're making ground over Eddie, as pretty much 4 tenths up as they go through Skyline, and then the S's once again. Nicholas, immense pace once again. Joe, they're closing in a bit. Quinners has managed to get ahead of Root meanwhile. That must have happened at some point earlier in the lap. Maybe at Griffin's Bend at a guess. He was looking at some other things going on while that was happening. But now will Groot be able to get the counter attack? Here we go on board with Groot. Closing in. That Hyundai looking quite good on the straights, as does the Mustang though. A little bit later on the brakes. Ooh! And Quinners oversteps it a little bit. And that allows the Hyundai to get a switchback. They're going to have the outside line going into the final corner. Ooh, a little bit later on the brakes as well goes Groot. Will they be able to square off the corner a bit better? It looks like the Ford got a... As Sir Bottle Job has actually managed to get ahead of Rotary. When did that happen? We're about to see. So he was going out of the chase, it would seem, around the outside of the exit, and then Rotary seemed to come back at them not quite as they went through turn 1. Roland still having to fend off Groot. Those two practically super glued together at this stage. That Hyundai seems to have the acceleration edge over the Ford. But perhaps the very top end, without any slipstream, the Ford seems to have it. Very tense stuff. Our race leader still escaping up the road a bit, 2.7 seconds to the good. Really making that Ferrari work for them. Crazy John. Again, keeping Joe at a distance. There's currently 1.6 seconds between those two. Good rivals. And here you see plunging into the elbow. Correction, that's actually the dipper. The elbow is the kink leading out of that. There goes my professional commentary license, not that I had one anyway. Groot looking to the inside, gets a very good run, going into the chase, brakes late. I think there's a bit of dust kicked up by someone up ahead. That's probably Joe, given the proximity. And again, Groot looking to make an overtake going into the final corner. These guys really setting up the overtakes quite nicely, but they're going to have to work together if they want to catch the guys up ahead. Rotary, meanwhile, and Sir Bottle Job side by side. Rotary to the outside, Sir Bottle Job to the inside, gets that move to stick quite nicely. So great battling for 6th and 7th as well as for 5th and 4th. As, there's something even juicier going on here, as GTO and Eddie are together on circuit. So Eddie's managed to catch up to GTR, and that Audi, being front wheel drive, the balanced performance polyphony have got, tend to favour it on the straights. We'll see how it does on the straights here. We're going on board with Eddie. Very Ayrton Senna-esque helmet. Might even be a replica. Turns in a bit too early. Can't quite put the power down as they go up the hill. That's somewhat expected from the front wheel drive machine. And the Citroen pulls away again. Now look, Groot surely not going to try and move into the S's. Yep, indeed. Backs out of it, wisely so. Better to get a run on one of the straights. We have very long straights here, as well as very technical corners. No real very slow corners. Nothing really second gear, you would think, around here at Mount Panorama. Nothing like a hairpin. Closest thing we've got is the cutscene. Fantastic work by Drone Wilkinson on the cam. And Groot, decimating the camera. That one's going to work well for the highlight reel, and Quinners has made a mistake. Lap after lap, the pressure has finally got to him, and Groot manages to go through. Here it was, side by side. Quinners just outbraking himself onto the grass, finest margin. And that's allowed Groot to escape up the road a bit. 2.3 seconds to the good. Over Quinners. Will they be able to make that time back up, either on strategy or perhaps on pace? We shall see. The tyres are starting to wear out a bit on these cars. The fuel should be good by my calculations for... not quite the whole race, but close. Maybe 18 laps. So they're going to have to put a little bit of fuel in. Nicholas still out in front, 5.5 seconds the gap to CJ. Really wringing the neck of that Ferrari. It's really working out for them as well. Ooh, fantastic noise as well. CJ making their way through. I think Joe has gained a little bit of time on CJ, has he? Actually, no. I think it's around the same. It sort of stayed at 1.6-ish mark. CJ was very late on the brakes through the dipper. Fourth place group, fifth place Quinners. So Bottle Job in sixth, having a fantastic battle with Rotary. Oh, but Rotary sparking out on the wall, just running a little bit too wide. If that was Gran Turismo 6, he'd end up sideways from doing that. As I believe we also have some battles a bit further down the field. Indeed, Amuda ahead of GTO. So that overtake has happened at some point. And in fact, what's actually happened? Wait, Amuda's actually picked up damage somewhere. I'm not sure where that's happened. Apologies for missing that, but he's picked up damage. He's going to have to head to the pits for that one, Chief. Sliding a bit. Must have been a very heavy collision with the wall. Hello to Sota in chat, nice having you along. Indeed, that is a Golden Bear Motorsports livery, because it's gold and it has a bear on the side of it. Kahin sponsorship on the side as well, that's Super GT team. Or sponsor at least. Remember the Kahin HSVs back in the day on Gran Turismo 6? 7 seconds the gap between first and second. And second and third, still pretty stagnant. I reckon if Joe manages to get into slipstream, those two will be inseparable. But at the moment, CJ isn't letting him. Quinners, 2.5 back from group. Flash the lights there. They're making their way through McPhillamy Park. Now through Skyline and then the S's. Here we go. It is just like a water slide. You're that limited on grip because of the slope. It's fantastic to drive. Terrifying to drive as well. And it would seem Sir Bottle Job has a little bit of a gap over Rotary. Just breaking that slipstream. That might be enough for them to start breaking away. We'll have to see how that goes. Shout out to FaZe Gherkenbaum for liking one of my activities. Free shout outs for doing that. Of course, if you're not Swablu and abusing that, but constantly liking and unliking and peasanting about. Indeed, the slipstream has been broken for Rotary. What can the Lexus do? The Lexus has a lot of gears, that's one thing I do know about it. I believe it has either 7 or 8. I've got in my head it's 7. Someone will probably correct me in chat, because that's probably wrong. Nevertheless, I'm dying. I know I should have a beverage here on hand. Nevertheless, Rotary still chugging along. 8th place for GTO at the moment. James up to 9th. Remember, they were at the very back after having to make what we can assume is an early pit stop for damage repairs. And they've gone off the circuit. Ooh, very close to the wall. Avoids picking up damage, that's crucial. If, of all places you could pick up damage right after the pit entry, that's probably the worst place to do it, as Eddie goes into the pits. That's engine damage for them, and suspension, and front aero. Eddie, none too steady it would seem at this stage. Jack Wilkinson's walked into the pit lane, he's everywhere, Jacko. 7. Thank you, CJ. CJ, why are you typing in the middle of the race? Stop doing this, you fat peasant. I know there are long straights here. You're not setting a good example to these guys. Here's Eddie's teammate, Infamous, or Infamus. plasma dynamic helmet with the green and the orange. Colours of his country's flag there, the Irish lad. Or ladette. Do not know this information, quite frankly, it doesn't necessarily matter. Good to see them here though. Will be in a good battle with their teammate. Be interested to see how the Audis do on the straights compared to the other cars. 9 seconds Nicholas has. 2-minute 10.377, the fastest lap. That's faster than anyone else besides them has done in qualifying. That might even be faster than their qualifying time. Actually no, I think it's around a 10th or so off if I'm not mistaken, but it's close. CJ has picked up a penalty for what I can assume is corner cutting quite heavily. He's got 0.9 seconds to serve. We'll probably be able to do that just by getting rid of it over time. There's enough time in the race to do that. 2.1 seconds, the gap between them and Joe. It would seem that the Porsche is having better tyre wear, I'd guess. Indeed. However, the BMW is saving a bit on fuel, so perhaps Joe is looking to make up some time in the pits, perhaps with a little bit of an undercut as well, given the tyres are going off faster for him, and perhaps he'll try and get closer to CJ that way. He is making up a bit of time though. Here's Groot, still 4th. Very good showing from Groot still. Penalty for typing during the race. Yes, let's say it's that. Groot and Quinners, they was having a fantastic scrap earlier. Still around that 2.6 second gap. It's increasing a little bit as Groot seems a bit more confident on the brakes going into the S's. As we've got Rotary and Bottle Job closing up again. So this is the closest battle we have on track at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. Here we are on board with G4 Rotary for Paradox Sim Sport, I believe they rebranded to. Used to be Paradox Auto Works. Through the Falcon Dipper. And then this corner here is the elbow. Makes sense, elbow shaped. Not quite in the slipstream, so Bottle Job still managing to avoid giving Rotary that advantage, but it would seem the Lexus is gaining on the straight. Somewhat expected, the Porsche very good in the corners. It's fascinating seeing how the balance of performance matches up these different characteristics of cars, some better on the straights, some better in the corners, but throughout a lap, all very similar. Oh, a little bit wide for Bottle Job on that occasion. That's going to allow Rotary to close up a little bit. Not sure if it's enough to get them slipstream going on to the mountain straight, which is this one out of the first corner. Comrade straight being the long back straight. Hello to Amuda in chat. Amuda also typing while racing, not on. Or at least I hope he was paused if he was doing so. Hold on, what's going on around here? Was it? Oh, okay. Just Eddie by himself. I thought I saw a second arrow on the mini-map. He was pretty much by himself at the moment. 35 seconds over his teammate. And in fact, Nicholas is about to start lapping the first of these guys. We're on lap 10. We're about halfway done here at the Mountain King Challenge. So far, Nicholas going pretty much unchallenged as they were in qualifying. Seem to be in a bit of a different league at the moment. Is that a novice sticker on the back of that? I think it is, you know. You see that X, that yellow X underneath the rain flashing light and above the exhaust? That's a bit of a joke, isn't it? Oh, infamous! What on earth were they doing there? No idea. That was really strange. They are in a... well, a front-wheel drive car. Did they lock up? Oh, they've picked up damage at some point. That's really strange. You know what that might have been? That might have been an attempt to get into the pit lane without realising that they passed it. And only just realising and then trying to turn in. First pit stops around the halfway mark. That's pretty standard for a lot of these guys. Split the race exactly in half. Joe emerges in the lead. CJ in second. 1.3 seconds the gap. And in fact, Joe has managed to overtake CJ in the pits, hasn't he? Now, will the Mad Greek be able to make up the ground that Joe couldn't to him in that other stint? Brute still in fourth, Roland in fifth. So bottle job, 2-second penalty for them. Don't know when they got that. Don't think they was typing while racing. But that's going to be a hindrance to them as Rotary is right behind them. GTO exiting the pits. They're in 8th. James in the pits as well. They're getting a fresh set of rubber tyres as opposed to plastic tyres supplied by Matchbox or Hot Wheels. Out the pits they go. 1.5 second penalty. That is odd. I hope... It better not be a glitch because technically the pit lane cuts turn 1. That better not be what's happening here, polyphony. Mind you, if that was the case, I'm pretty sure someone would have brought that up already by now in the community. Yep, CJ indeed did have to refuel a bit more than Joe. I did mention how Joe was able to save a bit more fuel. That seems to have paid off for it, but now CJ managing to go to the end. One of the few people that didn't stop that time around was Nicholas. So maybe the gap will come down a bit, but I think he is going to re-emerge in the lead. Here he is in the pits. Very fast tyre change, has to be said, for car number 3. And exiting the pits already as the others are coming out the final corner. No penalty for them, so that would imply that that isn't a glitch. Blue flags being waved. That's an odd one. Hopefully just something on my screen because both of these guys are on the same lap and should be fighting for position. Well, blue flag for a blue car. There is Crazy John. Closed in by 4 tenths, I make that, maybe 3 tenths on that last lap. Groot still 4th, 8 seconds back, but still holding their own. Oh, bit of juiciness going on here. That's Sir Bottle Job. Wait, what's happened to Quinners? What is... Something's happened to Quinners. He's picked up engine damage and he's gone... He must have gone off at turn 1. Actually, no, he must have gone off at the final corner. That is extremely unfortunate for Quinners. My only guess is he put 2 wheels on the grass and couldn't stop the car in time. That is a rare and strange error for him. That is unfortunately going to put any chances of a good result here today to bed. Unless some of the others make similar mistakes. Isn't likely, but we'll have to see. Again, closing it. CJ very confident on the brakes, but then loses it on exit. Contrasting driving styles as well as contrasting cars here in 2nd and 3rd place. And he's still typing in chat despite racing. Oh, there you also see in the very far background, that was Nicholas' car. That's how far ahead he is. He's going into the final corner now if you look at the track map. These guys just going through the chase. That slipstream range not quite there. In fact, Joe seemed to gain a little bit of time over CJ on that lap. So Bottle Job still with a little bit of penalty to serve. They're currently in 5th. Be a good result for them if they can hold on to that. But a penalty as well for Rotary. He hasn't rotated around this week. But sparks being thrown up by that Lexus once again in the braking zone as it bottoms out. scraping along the floor. They'll be doing their best to close in, but it's very difficult to do so. GTR currently 7th. There you see that was Roland making their way finally to the pits. I reckon they could lose even 8th place to their teammate. There is their teammate. 0.9 seconds of penalty. Actually, I think they might just be able to get out. Or they're changing tyres as well. They're fueling up. Did Roland actually not make their pit stop before? Nope, they did. It's just a case of... yeah, actually they rejoined very close together on circuit. Look at this, the two Arrows Racing Team Mustangs. James better run out the final corner, of course. Side by side they run. Jet Wilkinson's going to have a field day with the photography for this one. There he is. He's warped again. As Eddie goes into the pits, probably for damage repairs. James goes up into 8th place. But no doubt a fearsome battle with their teammate is about to get underway. Of course, everyone's friendliest rival, their teammate, but rival nonetheless. Joe and CJ. Oh, actually, these two have really closed up now. 0.4 of a second. Whether there was a mistake from Joe or CJ's really just put the hammer down in that last lap, don't know. But Joe has been caught. CJ is in slipstream range. It's make or break time. Well, I say that, there's still 6 laps to go. 7 laps even as they're just starting this one. Lap 14. Again, if you're enjoying the race so far, be sure to leave a like on the stream. Helps out the channel in some way. Consider subscribing. We're going to be having weekly content up to, I believe it is early January, when season 5.5 concludes. So plenty of action coming your way. A little bit of warping on CJ's front. So Joe's probably warping on his screen, which is going to make it difficult for him to follow. Possibly will mess up the slipstream as well if that warping is happening on that end. 0.6 the gap as they go through McPhillamy Park and towards Skyline. No, not the Nissan. The Rise. Although, of course, the Nissan Skyline, very famous car around this circuit. As, oh, a little bit further back, I think we saw a mistake from someone. Indeed, I think that was Infamous and Bottle Job getting close together. So I think that was Bottle Job lapping them. We're about to see. I'm going to go on board. So it seemed to let them pass. Okay, yep. Oh, a little bit of onion barges with the wall. I think... Actually, no, there wasn't really contact from what I saw. However, there was contact with the wall for Sir Bottle Job as he tried to give as much room as he could. Rotary, right on the back of Infamous. Difficult place to pass someone though, the S's. It's going to lose more time to Sir Bottle Job up ahead. Work the slipstream from the Audi. But it looks like the Audi is just going to let them by. Fair play to them. The Audi might actually come back at them though, given its straight line potential. As Crazy John is ahead of Joe. As Joe has actually picked up a little bit of a penalty somewhere. Still plenty of this to go. And still within slipstream range. Will Joe be able to make a counter-attack? That BMW good in acceleration. You'd expect it to be good on the uphill sections especially. But it is front-engined as well. Maybe a little bit more understeery than the Porsche being mid-engined. And it looks like CJ has just about broken that slipstream. Have a look at the tyre wear difference. A little bit more on the BMW. Somewhat expected. Very close to the camera again. Now, will Joe be able to get a better run out of here? It would seem so. He's been getting a better run out of the dipper all day. But the Porsche seems to have the legs on the BMW on the straight. That's a surprise. Or perhaps less of a surprise given the BMW 7-speed gearbox. And the way the balance performance works out, of course. Brute still in fourth, pretty much by himself, 33 seconds ahead of Sir Bottle Job. He'll pretty much just bring this one home. No real need to worry. The car behind him is only just going onto the straight. There he is. The gap starting to extend a little bit for these guys. Oh, a bit of a mistake though from Crazy John. Joe would have seen that. Might not be smelling blood, but certainly oil. Rotary in 6th, again sparking out in the braking zone. GTO 7th. Quinner's Roland Jupiter that is in 8th. James in 9th. So James has had to make another pit stop somewhere. He's picked up damage actually. There's James, suspension and aero, but he's choosing to run with it, I think. So he's losing a bit of time that way. Amuda could potentially catch up to him if he loses too much time. Gone by Motorsport's Toyota Supra. And then Eddie currently in 11th and 12th for Infamous. And of course our race leader, PRT Nicholas Carl. Extremely impressive, pretty much a time trial session as we say on the channel, but you can't take away this kind of performance or discredit that kind of performance. CJ continues to extend that gap over Joe. That must be frustrating for Joe. Oh wait, was that a bit of dust kicked up by CJ? Seems so, but not overly much, because he hasn't seemed to lose any time with that. My chair is falling to pieces, fantastic. New personal best lap by CJ that time around. Good stuff. What exactly was that? That was a 2-minute 10.7, so into the 2-minute 10s. Did set one earlier on. Didn't set a 2-minute 8, but I believe that was an outlap. Joe just about has dealt with that penalty kill. He'll be doing his best to catch CJ, but it isn't looking overly likely at this stage. Nicholas, meanwhile, I'm not sure when they actually said it, but a 209.7, that is immense pace. It was set only a few laps ago, lap 14. Lower on fuel, of course, and when the tyres less worn than they are at this stage, but still immense pace, set a 2-minute 9 last time out as well. Groot in 4th, still at this stage. Another very solid showing by them. Very quiet race, but they've gone about their business very smartly. So Bottle Job still down in 5th, very slidey as they make their way through the cutting. Oh, there's a little bit of something going off before the back as we see GTO and Quinners very close together on circuit. Quinners could be looking to have a run. Going to be difficult passing now they're onto the mountain section. He's got rid of that penalty entirely, so the ghosting will stop. But nevertheless, look at the pace of the Mustang on the uphill compared to the Citroen. Very speedy indeed. He's surely not going to try the outside of that section. Surely not. Towards me, filling me. Oh, and he's actually hit the wall. He's hit the wall, has he? No. Okay, that was a bit of net code or something. Oof. Scary times for Quinners. No doubt he's just going to wait it out, go onto the straight. Further up the road, 19 seconds to rotary. That's a bit of a stretch. A bit of warping inside each other there. Hopefully it's not going to lead to any damage or contact to either of them. Wake is warping. Wake isn't even here. But side by side they go, and the Mustang does indeed take it on the straight. So the Citroen not good on the straights, it would seem. And that would probably be why, as Quinners has actually disconnected after making the overtake, but the Citroen had front aero damage and front suspension, has been running with it. Does he go into the pits? Indeed he does. Gotta be careful on entry, and that's why don't want to mess up the pit entry. Just manages to get in. Take the scenic route. Drive across the beach. Nicholas, 21 seconds. As Joe seemed to have a little bit of issue with Infamous being lapped. Actually, Joe seemed to overrun it a bit. They haven't picked up damage, but they overran that, and that's why they picked up that penalty. The first part of the S's. That has pretty much... No, I'm not saying anything to that. There's still 2 laps of this race pretty much to go. The lead already onto the penultimate lap. Groot, currently 4th, is actually closing in on these guys. Could Groot take a podium here? I did not see this happening. When did Groot manage to gain that much time? It's only 3 seconds back from Joe. He must have really lost a lot of time on lapping Infamous. And with that penalty Joe's got, hasn't got long to get rid of it. Groot's podium chances very much alive here as we're getting into the closing stages of the race. The blue flags are being shown. Infamous staying ahead, at least for now. We'll probably end up letting Groot go by. Flash the lights, and indeed, sporting of them. Good work. Then up the rise they go. The gap continuing to go down. I think Joe has killed off his tyres. Yep, look at the difference in tyre wear. That's what it is. And in trying to catch CJ, he's burnt it up. And that's allowing Groot, who's been managing his tyres. Remember, he's been pretty much by himself for most of this race, especially the second half. And now he has a real shot here. And now the cameraman has a shot of the helicopter. He has a real shot of the podium in sight. Oof. And we know that BMW isn't that good on the straights. The Hyundai seems to be quite good. So we'll have to see how that one develops. Indeed, look at that. The gap continuing to close down. The hundredths are tumbling on the Delta. We'll see if we can check in on some of the other battles. I've moved it down in 9th at the moment. We've actually had... Oh, of course, that was Roland that left, so that would explain why we're down to 11 runners. Unfortunate. Rotary in 6th. Rotary's actually been catching Sir Bottle Job as well, so that's another one to look out for. Let's check the tyre wear difference on these guys. 6th to 5th. Actually, it would seem that it's a bit better for Sir Bottle Job, but they're already running a bit low on fuel. Hagee has left the lobby, they were just a spectator. Nice of them to join us for that though. Shame that they're missing the end of the race. 1.3 seconds, they're on the final lap here. Does Joe still have some penalty to kill? No, he's got rid of it all. That is crucial. 5 seconds CJ has over Joe, but the battle for 3rd and 4th has really opened up. Joe really struggling. Can he get that BMW round the circuit one last time? He's already about a third of the lap gone. Drew right there and lurking. Oh, it's going to go right down to the wire. Again, Groot continuing to close up. I thought their display at St. Croix with the 1 hour was good. This has been extremely impressive. Through the S's they go. On board we go with the high and dive Groot. Closing in. I think they would need to be in slipstream range if they're going to have a shot. Oh, they just clipped the wall on the outside. That could be curtains. It's going to have to be a lunge of the century. I don't know if they're going to quite do it, but round the final corner goes PRT Nicholas Carl. They are the winner of the Mountain King Challenge 2020 of the Nukeshot Endurance Series 5.5. Congratulations to Car 3 on a fantastic result. CJ is more than likely going to be taking 2nd place, 1 corner to go. Indeed, pretty much guaranteed. Well done to CJ. Groot and Joe not quite able to get to them. It was Groot, but a fantastic performance. CJ does take 2nd. Joe will take home 3rd place. Groot will come home in 4th, but a very, very plucky comeback drive in order to catch Joe in that ladder stage. So I definitely didn't see that one coming later on, as someone's actually gone off. Who's that? It's not Sir Bottle Job, they're in 5th at the moment. I think that's one of the lapped cars then. That's one of the Audis. Sir Bottle Job managed to hold off Rotary and will probably, not confirmed yet, be taking 5th place at the Mountain King Challenge. No mean feat. Remember, this circuit scared D-Look away from the entry list. So 5th place. Well done to Sir Bottle Job. Rotary will come on 6th. We'll have to settle for that result. Just outside the top 5. GTO making their way down towards Chase. Meanwhile, Amuda in 9th has crossed the line, a lap down. Eddie in 10th and Infamous in 11th. Remember Roland, that disconnect, unfortunate. They will not be... I think they'll... Actually no, because it's 75% race distance, so they won't be classified officially. Nevertheless, GTO takes 7th place. Well done to them. And James, both of the Arrows Racing Team cars suffering from damage throughout the race. Nevertheless, James standing strong at the end. They are last person across the line. Here are your results then at the Bathurst Mountain King Challenge here for Nukeshot Endurance Series 5.5. It is, of course, PRT Nicholas Carl. Pole position, fastest lap, the victory. A fantastic display by them indeed. Well, we hope you've enjoyed all the action here today from Mount Panorama. Plenty of action throughout the race. Apologies for anything that I may have missed, as well as that infamous pass between CJ and Joe towards the end of that. I'll need to save the replay before I forget. There we go. Race results. Here you go then. 2-minute 9.717 for Nicholas in the end. take a drink every time I've probably said immense this stream. That's my new phrase or word for this stream. Whew. Again, a shame Mika wasn't here due to the technical issues he's been having with his PlayStation. Hopefully he'll be with us next time out. Next time, speaking of which, what is next time? I shall find out for us. We will be back, of course, next week, but look at that, 25-second gap between first and second. And given that neither of the top two, or top three rather, were affected by incidents, that really shows the kind of pace that Nicholas has rocked up here today with. Be interesting to see if they enter any of the other future events. We'll give some of these guys a real run for their money. Next week we are going to the Group 3 and 4 showdown. That's going to be at Brands Hatch. 44 laps of the GP circuit. Group 3 and Group 4 cars on display. We've already seen both of those categories earlier in this current NES Season 5.5. Going to be another belter, that is for sure. From all of us here at Nukeshot Media, we hope you've enjoyed. Again, remember to tune in next time out. I've been Nukeshot Zokeo, and from Mount Panorama, it's goodbye from us.